Hey guys, Alex here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's vlog, I will be sharing with you how my husband and I manage our finances. So this is an update from our previous vlog, although it's still very similar, but we now have some refinements to our financial process. So now I would like to make a disclaimer that personal finance is personal. What works for me might not work as well for you. So my intention for this vlog is for you to take what you can learn from our financial process and create something that will work for you. In this video, I will be sharing with you 3 things. Number 1, why personal finance is important and why you need to learn how to manage money wisely. Number 2, how we manage our income. And 3, our different bank accounts and the differences between a traditional bank and a digital bank. Why is personal finance important? Managing your personal finance is a skill that needs to be learned, and you can learn this, although it's not taught in school. My husband and I were self-taught. We learned about personal finance from reading books, from watching how other people would do it. For me, I learned from books mainly until I came across clients and friends who were also skilled in managing their personal finances, and that's when I started learning from them. Because it's always how much you keep that matters in the end. I know people who earn hundreds of thousands per month but have trouble with their finances because they haven't developed the skill of managing money. I also know people who earn just enough, but they are still able to save and invest and grow their wealth. One example is the security guard of the bank where my mom used to work before. He was a full-time security guard at the time, but he saved what he could and also started a business on the side while working as a guard. The business ended up being successful, and now he owns a radio station and a school. If you want to grow your wealth, you need to be a good steward of what you already have so that God can entrust you with more. I learned the skill of managing money from my mom, who used to be a banker. She taught me how to save money, and so every week I would give her a percentage of my allowance and she would deposit it in my bank account. And so saving for me became a habit. The good news is you can develop this habit too. The first thing that you need to shift is your mindset. Surprisingly, many people find saving to be a painful process because they feel like they're being deprived if they save their money instead of spending it. Or they do save, but it's for the purpose of saving it to buy something like a gadget or a trip. So as for my husband and I, we love saving money because we view it as paying ourselves first, and we pay ourselves first so we can in turn use that money in different investments so we can grow it faster. So again, it's all about being a good steward of the blessings that we already have. Now, how do we manage our income? Okay, so let's start with how we split our income and the different funds that we have. We use BPI as our main bank because I like their app. It's so easy to use, and managing our funds through the app is so convenient. We have 12 BPI bank accounts. We have 5 regular savings accounts and 7 checking accounts. I only started with 1 savings account, but since I like separating my money into different funds, that's why I ended up setting up multiple bank accounts, and it kind of just grew from there. So all 7 funds that we have are deposited into 7 different bank accounts. This way, it is easier to monitor and to control, and you just need to check the bank account and you will know exactly how much you have in that particular fund or that particular account. So we have 7 different funds. We have first a personal fund, so that's where 30% of our income goes. And then business fund, 20% of our income goes there. Investment fund is 30%. Educational fund or big ticket fund, 10%. We also tithe 10% of our income. And then we have a tax fund, which is variable, and mortgage expense fund, also variable. So if you add all these percentages, it will amount to 100%. So let's start with our personal fund. So this is for our family monthly expenses like groceries, utilities, home mortgage, and our other personal expenses, like if we want to buy something new like a bag or an outfit, then I get it from this fund. We put 30% again of our income into this fund. And then we have our business fund. This is for our business expenses in growing the team, YouTube channel, personal sales. So there are 3 things that we are currently focusing on. And we have 4 people on our team that support our goals. So it's myself, my husband, Kirby, my videographer, slash editor, and Myla, my executive assistant. So this is where we get the funds to pay for their salary, for their bonuses, when we have team meetings outside, treat them to lunch or coffee. This is where we get the funds from. Because we treat real estate as a business, and that's why we have separate bank accounts for that. We used to only put 10% of our income into this fund, but as we added more people, as we are now building our team in Truly Wealthy, then we also needed to augment it and grow it, increase it to 20% so it could cover the expenses that we have on a monthly basis. And then we have the investment fund. This fund is for our different investments like the mortgage of our real estate investments, stock market investments, insurance payments, and other potential businesses we might have in the future. As they say, luck is when opportunity meets preparation. So it's important to have an investment fund because you never know when there's going to be a good opportunity. So it's best to be prepared so that once there's a great opportunity to invest in, you will have the funds to do that. And then we have the educational fund slash big ticket fund. It also doubles as our health fund. So this is for big ticket expenses such as family vacations or equipment upgrade. Like for instance, we decided to upgrade our vlogging equipment this year. We got a new camera, gimbal, a microphone. We also had upgraded my laptop to a MacBook Air. I got a new iPhone, so in total we spent like over 300,000, like around 330,000 on all the new gadgets, which by the way weren't impulse buys. We did our research and we figured that these were the gadgets that we needed to really raise the bar and our productivity and the efficiency and how nice our channel was to another level. Because of course we really love you guys, our viewers. And we want to do our best to make sure that we produce quality content. We are very particular with continuous improvement, even if it's just 1% improvement every month. And so, whenever we have upgrades to do, we get that from the big ticket fund. It also doubles as an educational and health fund. So if there are, let's say, books that I want to buy or conferences that we want to attend, our gym monthly fee, for example, we also get it from this fund. So this fund doesn't get used as regularly as other funds. It kind of just builds up until we decide to use it for those big ticket expenses. So the benefit of having this fund is so that when something big comes up, you won't put a dent on your personal savings because you already have been saving up money in advance before you even need it. So we put 10% of our income into this fund. Next is tithe. So we also tithe 10% of our income because we want to honor the Lord with the first fruits of our labor. It's a commitment that I've made way back in college when I came to know Jesus, and I've continued with this practice until today. And the benefit of tithing is that it reminds me that the money that I have doesn't belong to me. It's all through God's grace. And tithing also helps us grow in faith and to trust the Lord that He will always provide. And then we have two variable funds, which is our tax fund and mortgage fund. Tax fund is for our tax payments to the government on our income. So again, it's variable because it depends on the income that we get. And so I save it in a different bank account so that when tax time comes, the money is already there. Also, it's easier to monitor it. It won't be at risk of being spent for other things other than tax payment. And then we have mortgage slash expense fund. So this is also another variable expense. We basically get this from our investment fund and then put it into another bank account, because what we do is that all our expenses for the next year, we put it in a separate account. So for example, all our mortgage, equity payments, insurance payments, HMOs, expenses amount to, let's say, 500,000. So we save up the 500,000 this year and then put it in a separate bank account so that we are now ready for the entire year next year for our payables. So all the payments for the next year have already been prepared for. The money is already there. Doing this allows us to have peace of mind and also enables us to focus more on growing our business because we don't have to worry about the monthly payables anymore because it's already there. It's already ready and prepared for. So the reason why we decided to do it this way, is because in real estate, cash flow can be tricky. It's not like having a regular job or a traditional business wherein you have cash flow every month. So that's why we are very careful with how we manage our cash flow, so that to make sure that we won't be squeezed by our expenses while, we're still waiting for our collectibles. So you really have to study how your business works. You have to study the cash flow to make sure that you are able to prepare in advance. Now let's go to the banks that I use. I have 15 banking apps on my phone. I have BDO, BPI BizLink for our corp account, East West, GCash, CIMB, Como, Tonic, Security Bank, RCBC Digital, Metro Bank, Union Bank, RCBC Online, Coins, and INC. Since my main bank is BPI, I use this app the most. And I also use GCash a lot since it's how I pay for our utilities, for our homeowners association dues, and a lot of other things. Like when I go shopping, when I go to a coffee shop, I just do GCash because it's so convenient. I really don't have much cash in my wallet anyway. For the rest of the banks, I use from time to time, and I don't store as much cash in them compared to my main bank accounts. We also have another fund called an emergency fund. We deposited an amount equivalent to 7 months worth of our expenses into this fund to use in case of an emergency. So we realized how important having an emergency fund was during the pandemic, when we had to close our traditional businesses like overnight. We needed funds to tide us over until we figured things out. And at the time, we only had like 2 months worth of emergency funds. So we were like, we need to do better. So a safe amount would be like 3 to 4 months of your expenses. But for us, because we went through all that during the pandemic, we just decided to make it 7 months worth of expenses just to be on the safe side. The pandemic has really changed the way we handle money. Now we've put up a lot of safeguards to make sure that we protect both our health and wealth while in pursuit of our goals. So we store a huge chunk of our emergency fund in digital banks because it has higher interest rates compared to traditional bank accounts. So we mostly use Como and Tonic because for Tonic, they give like 6% interest in a 6-month time deposit, and their stash, if you put your money into a Como stash, the interest rate for that per annum is 4%, which is a lot higher compared to other banks. Now let's talk about HMO and medical insurance. So getting both is part of personal finance because one of the steps to financial freedom is wealth protection. You will want to be prepared for any situation. And healthcare is very expensive here in the Philippines, so you need to make sure that you can afford it in case anything happens. We have an HMO with CFI, and the HMO there only costs 6.2 per annum with a coverage of 100,000. So this includes refunds for labs and outpatient checkups up to a certain amount. And then we also got a medical insurance from AXA with a coverage of 1 million. So the purpose of having these two is so that, God forbid, if anything happened, then we can focus on recovery and not stress about the medical bills. AXA's medical insurance will cover your entire hospital bill up to 1 million. So I have a whole vlog about our HMO and medical insurance. I'll put it up in the card above. So all in all, that's how we manage our finances. I've been doing it since I was single, and when I got married, we adapted the method as a couple with a little bit of tweaking. And there are 2 main benefits to this method. First, whenever income flows into our main account, we immediately separate it according to the different funds that we have. So we have developed the habit of allocating our finances immediately before spending anything. This way, we can save first and spend later, versus the usual way of spending first and saving what's left, if there's even anything that's left. And then second, it gives us a clear picture of exactly how much money we have for each type of expense, because each expense is separated into different bank accounts. So it lessens the risk of us spending money that's actually meant for other payables elsewhere. It's also easier to track and manage this way. And that's it for today's vlog. If you learned something new today, and if you feel like you can adapt this into your own personal finance, grow in the comment section. If you have any questions about our system, you know where to find me, and I'll see you in my next video.